Whoa. The lighting's awful. I'm sorry. I'm in my car waiting for my daughter for dance class. I wanted to talk about my goal progress. So I set up all these goals. If you watched my New Year's video, you saw that I set up a lot of goals for the new year. I have a lot of ambition. It's already the third week in February. I just want to kind of touch base and see where we're at. I feel weird too because I'm just on a street filming this. So some of the goals I had, sorting through old paperwork. I did do one box. That was my goal for January, was to do one box. And I got that done. I have not done my box yet for February, but now that I'm talking about it, I might just go home and do it or put it on the list for tomorrow because tomorrow is less busy. Tuesdays are always really busy. We've been working on our renovation house. That's always a set thing that we just do. So that's just something that has to progress with time. Be consistent with posting. I've been trying really hard to post on Wednesday. And if I get it on Thursday, I think that's okay, but my goal is always for Wednesday. So I think I've only missed one this year. I haven't bought bread since the beginning of the year. So I did get a couple free loaves that I threw in the freezer for backups, basically. So if I don't get a chance to make bread, then I have a couple backup loaves. But we haven't used those yet. So far this year, it's only been homemade bread, which I think is awesome. I'm still trying to work on white bread recipe that we like. I tried 2 loaves last week, I think. I didn't really care for either of them. One was like way too sweet and one wasn't sweet at all. Plus, I kind of had a little mishap because I proofed my bread in the oven. I warmed it up to like 100 degrees and then I shut it off and then I proofed my bread in there. The oven was getting a little cold. It was pretty cold outside. And so I turned it back on because I was going to warm it back up to 100. I forgot about it. So I had 4 loaves of bread in there and 2 of them started cooking to the point where I couldn't save them. They melted my bowls. It was like a whole thing. The other 2, I think the one was fine because I had just shaped it and put it in there. So it was totally fine. But the other one got a little dry on top, so I think that affected it too. And you can kind of see the swirls of where I rolled. Like, how there's a lot of traffic. You can see the swirls of where I rolled the bread loaf, and it's fine. But at this point now, I think that was the one that was kind of not sweet at all, and it just, I don't think anybody liked it. I was gonna try to combine those 2 recipes because I think that they were okay, but they'd be better together. So that's my plan with that. But I'm doing pretty good on the not buying bread. I'm happy about my progress so far. Post consistently. I decluttered the living room. You would have seen that video last week. I'm so happy with the progress so far. So that was done at the end of January. Cleaning up the living room now takes 5 to 10 minutes. Yesterday, I vacuumed everything, which to me means pulling out all the furniture and getting underneath everything. And so it did take a little longer to actually clean. But as far as keeping it picked up and tidy, like, it's been wonderful. And I'm so happy with that living room. I keep talking about it. I think my family's getting sick of it because I'm like, you know, doesn't the living room look nice? And I'm happy with the living room. I'm working on the pantry. That's kind of a big project. And it's kind of like I was doing really good on it. But now I'm wondering if I'm going to finish it before the end of the month because I kind of got backed up and I don't know. Like, tell me if you guys are like this, but sometimes something happens and it derails my whole plan. And then I just, instead of like trying to make progress again, I just kind of shut down and then nothing happens. And I'm trying to be a lot better about that. I guess I should just get back to doing it and finish it. There's not much left. I cleaned up a good chunk of it and I've just got a small stack of boxes with random junk in it. And that's always what gets me, is that random junk, because I don't know what to do with it. I don't have a place for it. It's not stuff that I can like readily throw away, but it's not stuff that I have a spot for right now. And I'm hoping that when I declutter the whole house, I will have spots for these things. And it is stuff like Easter decorations. I don't really have a spot right now to put them because the spot where I'm planning on putting them is kind of not accessible. So that's where I'm at with that. And it's only just a few little boxes. And then I've got to do some like cleaning, but I should just finish it. It's good. This is good for me to check in too, because now I can talk myself into it. I will just finish that up, get it done, and then I won't have to worry about it anymore. Read one book. This might seem really dumb, but my goal is to read one book a month. I am the slowest reader in the world, so one book a month is like 10 times what I read last year. And I like reading a lot, but it's hard for me to focus because I'm an overthinker and I stress about things. So when I'm reading, sometimes my mind wanders and then I'm thinking about, I don't know, some other thing that doesn't matter at the moment. So I read my book last month. I even started on the next book for February. My book last month was called Make Your Bed, and I forget who it's by. It was Admiral William something. It was an interesting read. This man who wrote the book, it's like a self-help book or whatever, and it's about like completing small tasks to kind of like make you feel good. You make your bed in the morning, because then even if the rest of the day goes wrong, at least you made your bed. And I think that the whole concept was really good. I think that the man who wrote it, his stories, he was in the Navy, and his stories are really good, and I enjoyed reading them. But he kind of writes the way that I speak, where you have a point to make and then you go off on a tangent, and then people are sitting there listening and they're like, what is the point of this? How does this relate to what you're talking about? And then you have to be like, oh yeah, because of this thing, and then it brings it back around. So reading that gave me some insight into how I speak, because I know that's what I do when I speak. And it was kind of funny because although I enjoyed his stories, he didn't really get to the point, which that's probably how you guys feel too, and other people when they listen to me yak, because I don't know. I'm like, here's an example about this thing, and then it's way not related, but then I loop it around so it works in my head. That was a good book. I probably wouldn't like say, oh, this is a great book and you should read it and it changed my life, but it was a good read. I think that it was fun. I did really enjoy the stories that he wrote in there. He's an interesting man, so I think it was cool. It was called Make Your Bed. I'll pop a picture of it up somewhere during this. I have been taking some of the paychecks. My husband gets paid every week on Friday, and I've been taking a small chunk of that, like 5%, and putting it away so that I can start saving some money and build up an emergency fund. Honestly, it's starting to save for Christmas right away so that we don't get in a bind for Christmas. So that's been going good. I haven't missed a week so far. I haven't gotten to the $1,000 emergency fund yet, so I'm still working on that. I haven't worked on the emails or the Pinterest boards at all, or the pictures. I don't know, I guess I forgot about them. The other day, I started working on my handstand practice, I guess. So I'm very out of shape, and maybe I should talk about that first. I'm very out of shape. I'm doing 75 soft, and by doing it, I mean I'm like doing 75 soft. I'm not successful. This will be an utter failure. However, it's not a total loss because I'm getting myself geared up better to do better, if that doesn't even make sense. So like 75 soft, what do you have to do? You have to follow a meal plan. You have to work out for 45 minutes every day, drink 3 liters of water, read 10 pages of a book, and then I added on take my vitamins because I'm very not good about taking my vitamins every day, but I'm better now. So I haven't missed a vitamin day in a few weeks. In general, I don't miss days anymore, and I think that's part of that is because it is on this list for me. As far as a meal plan, I go in and out. If I can plan ahead, I do really well. If I get caught where I'm hungry and I don't have anything planned or prepped, I fail. And then I'm eating whatever I can find. And that's bad. That's where I always fail in these kinds of things. The working out, I haven't been doing. And I know that's a big, huge part of my problem. So that sucks. 3 liters of water, I think I'm up to. I've been really working hard at doing the 3 liters of water. And I'm pretty close to 3 liters most days, and I think that's great. And then 10 pages in a book. I haven't been reading every day, but I have been reading more, and I've already finished a book this year. I'm on track to finish the next book by the end of this month. So I think that even though I'm not sticking with the 75 soft like I should be, and if I did a video about 75 soft, I would basically say I failed 75 soft. It is benefiting me. So I'm just going to keep going and try to keep improving before the 75 days is over, and then jump to the next one, which is 75 medium, for the way that I set things up. Okay, so back to the handstand thing. I want to do a handstand. I've wanted to do a handstand since I was a teenager. And so the other day, my daughter's in an acro class. That's where she is now. And it's at the dance studio. Her dance teacher is teaching the acro class. So she's in this acro class, and she's learning how to do like backflips and one-handed cartwheels and all this amazing stuff, okay? So I've been watching her. She's been in it for like 5 months, I think. And I've been watching her, and she's improved so much from the fall to right now. And it's really cool to watch. So then I'm like, okay, how does the teacher start this out? These kids are more advanced. You know, they're not starting from nothing. However, my son is in a dance class, and they do little acro bits in the class. And the first thing, he's 4, so the first thing she has them learn is how to do a forward roll, like a somersault. And I'm like, okay, so I'll start with a somersault, because if you can do a somersault, then you can move up to something else. I should have had my daughter record it. It was so ridiculous, because I'm an adult. I've done somersaults. I've been a child. You know, like you do flips and jump off things, and it's no big deal when you're a kid. But when you're an overweight adult that doesn't move much, doing a forward roll or a somersault is kind of a challenge. And honestly, I was a little scared, because like, you got to get down, tuck your head in, and then lift your body off the ground and kind of throw yourself. And I was like, holy crap, I'm going to break something. I'm going to crash into something. I'm nervous about this. I laid the mat down. I have like a yoga mat that's thick. It's probably like that thick. And I was like, okay, I'll do it on here. And I couldn't. I was like scared to do it, which is so ridiculous. And I couldn't stop laughing at myself the whole time. And my daughter's laughing hysterically, which she was a really good coach. So I'm not, you know, upset about that or anything, but it was so funny. And then I'm like, okay, maybe if I go on the bed, because we have a king size bed, and maybe if I go on the bed, I can do it and not worry about like breaking something like the TV stand or my back or whatever. So we went on the bed, and she kind of like took my leg and threw it over, and I did it. I did it a couple times, because I was like, okay, it wasn't that big of a deal. I'm just a big whiny baby. And that's great. So that was my little first step into just getting myself to move a little bit, because I'm not sedentary. I work on rebuilding this house. I run around with my kids. I do things, but I don't do those kinds of things. So I did that. That was like last week, I think. And this week, I think I'm going to work on like, I don't know, donkey kicks or something. So I'm just trying to start to build up a little like strength in my upper body and a little bit of confidence with just doing these things. And it's probably ridiculous, but I think it'll get me there. I'm pretty sure it will. So that's what I'm working on now. And hopefully it'll turn into a handstand by the end of the year. Moving on. I've been doing the bullet journal, but I don't keep up very well, so it's kind of a pain in the butt. And I have to try to backtrack, which is difficult. So I need to get on a better schedule for that. So my daughter gifted me a violin, and 2 weeks ago was when she gave it to me, and I started practicing. And so I made Thursdays my violin days. And so I started practicing that first day, kind of learning how to hold it and just learning what to do and whatever. And then last Thursday I played like, what do they call it? There's a word for it, like scales, like where you go do 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 do. on the violin. And it was really cool. Like, I kind of had imposter syndrome when I started, and I'm like, I can't do this. This is difficult. Why did I ever pick the violin? And, you know, how stupid. And then I started doing it, and I'm just finding videos on YouTube and kind of following along. And so I started doing it, and then I could play these scales, and I was like telling my husband, I'm like a little kid, I'm like, pay attention to me, pay attention to me. I said, listen to what I can do. And he's like, okay. And he knows how to play the violin. He's so cool. He can play all these instruments and stuff. So he is trying to correct me and help me with the bow and kind of teach me about this and that. But he's not a great teacher. So I'm just like, okay, you know, I appreciate your help. Now back off. And so I'm showing him that I did this, like, these scales. And he's like, oh, that's really great, you know? And I'm like, okay. I'm like a little kid learning how to do a thing. Anyway, that was really fun, and I've kind of made Thursday my violin day, so that's exciting for me. And I like having a set day where it's like, no, I do this every week on the same day so that I can stick with it, because I really do want to learn it. I've always wanted to learn it. I haven't been journaling. I want to. I don't know what my hang up is. I just haven't been doing it, but I have these little, like, oh, it's a much better angle, kind of. I have these little virtual marathon things. You've probably seen them online. It's where you like order the medal and then you run the race and then you get to display the medal. So New Year's Eve, my husband said he would walk with me. It's called the Midnight Mile. So we walked a mile. It was like 2 a.m. and we walked a mile, and then we got the little medal for that. And I'll pop a picture up here. It was fun. It was just him and I. We went. The kids were sleeping already, so it was just kind of like to ring in the new year with a good, you know, like, oh, I did a fitness challenge on New Year's, and that was fun. I want to do another one before this month is over. I guess I only have like a week left, so I got to get going on that. I think that's everything that's going on now. I think overall the goals are going well. But I'm glad I did this recap, because it's going to put me on track again. It's kind of like a reset for me, so that I can get back on track and prioritize the things and figure out where I'm lacking. By having to sit here and talk about it makes me reflect on what needs to change. So this was good. Thanks for sitting here and listening to me. I hope you watched the whole thing. It was fun for me. Was it fun for you? All right. If you want to follow along, keep track of my goals, declutter your house with me, hit the subscribe button, and I will see you in the next video. And that's all I got. Bye.